I ain't talking about you. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? He ain't back down either. But let's be fair. Adam.
That word YouTube. It's Lusky. You watching Lusky Views, man. We finna get off into some of this content. Before we get started, man, shout out Byron Blake. Yeah, we done got off into this Ceddy Nash, speaking on Young Ant Jefe and King Pill. Yeah, let's go ahead, hop into it real quick.
Nash, the cop calling Crip, is at it again. This time, he talking about this situation between King Peel, Adam 22, and Young Ant Jefe. Now, the funny thing about this is, I can kind of see why Adam was pursuing the Ceddy Nash topic, the paperwork, the whole little thing. I can see why Adam was pursuing that content. And the reason I say that is because Ceddy is obviously hating on Adam. This is one of those things where it's like, a fake friend type of situation. When Ceddy is under fire, he wants to come on No Jumper and go on the platform and use that platform to clear his name. He want to use that platform to address all rumors so that he can make sure the message reaches, the audience, a bigger audience, a vast audience. He wants to make sure of that. So then he's cool with Adam 22. But after watching this video, I ain't so sure. It seemed like he trying to get Adam into some legal trouble. Just check this out.
Now, it's a gang of ways to take that. Y'all can say, hey, buddy on the couch, press pill. Y'all can say that. Y'all can be like, hey, he pressed him, you know what I'm saying? He got on 10 toes and basically was like, there ain't no disrespect like that going on and everything like that. You can take that, and I can see that. Or you could take another route and say, Pill decided to, hey, nigga, I ain't talking about you. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? He ain't back down either. But let's be fair. Adam. I ain't gonna hold you. You giving the people what they want. That was messy as hell, bro. That was messy. That was, man.
Hey,
That was messy. But
I said that same shit, man. As soon as he asked that question, I said he know exactly what he doing. He getting his next 2 months content. You feel me? Next 2 months worth of content finna come right off that question he asked.
Adam, also understand, bro, when you ain't doing your research on people, you barking up a couple of trees, bro. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. If dude on the couch would have went extra crazy and would have just swung on cuz, if he getting checks from y'all establishments, Pill could actually sue.
I don't know what made Ceddy come up with this, but to even put some information like that into the universe is crazy. The reason why I look at it like that is because regardless of what Adam or King Peel or Young Ant may be doing on that platform, for one, Ceddy wasn't there. For two, they got a reputation for running plays. I'm not saying that this was a play. I'm just saying they have a reputation for that. So, going that deep as to saying somebody could sue somebody and getting all into the whole legal aspect of it is kind of extreme. But the crazier part about it is you make it sound as if you saying Adam is messy. So you make it sound as if Adam is producing this content with the intent that there be some type of conflict for views, for ratings. Well, not too long ago, not even a full month ago, Ceddy Nash himself was just campaigning for the same type of thing. I recall clearly you saying that you wanted to pull up to No Jumper and confront some people and record it. Now, what if you were to confront somebody and they go full, throttle on you? Adam could be sued for that as well. It doesn't have to be just because it's a person that's employed by him. If a person has expressed that they have a conflict with somebody and they looking to bump into that person and you arrange or facilitate that meeting, then you could be just as liable, And I don't know, maybe said he forgot he said this.
All too comfortable with the disrespect. Y'all just all are. In 607, I'm gonna tell you something like this. Eventually, you gonna get packed out. Somebody, not
Do nothing to 607.
by me, not by me, but one of them interviews that you had did. I was 5 minutes away from being there, and I for sure was gonna make sure that we rapped, and it damn sure was gonna make sure that it was recorded. And I want you to do all that gangster stuff and everything like that. The mother cats, they already know. We ain't gonna be in those situations to where I see them and we see them and it ain't gonna be up, because it is. Just keeping it authentic. They know that, I know that.
That was so confusing to me because you saying, hey, I'm gonna confront you and I want you to be on all that gangster stuff you was on. I want you to talk all that gangster stuff. But at the same time, you telling him that you want to meet him at a place of business and you are going to record the encounter. That's cop activity, bro. So it kind of sound like you are fishing for a confrontation at No Jumper to possibly file a lawsuit yourself. Maybe that's why you got lawsuit on the brain with these other two people in their situation, because you thinking like that. Because it don't make sense if you worried about, legal repercussions for you to be saying you gonna approach somebody, you want them to act hard, and you want to film it. That makes absolutely zero sense unless you are trying to put a case on somebody. Still, it's the contradiction in the actions. You are condemning Adam for producing a certain type of content and for allowing certain situations to happen on his platform. But then you turn around and want to produce the same type of conflict. You want to produce the same type of content and create conflicts and film them on the same platform. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that I'm missing. Maybe Ceddy is just hating on Young Ant, because it seemed like he was more geared towards trying to vouch for King Peel. Like, well, you could look at it like dude checked him, but King Peel wasn't going either. Then he played the King Peel diss song. Then he's, King Peel could actually sue and all of this different stuff.
How could this
It
nigga
seemed
sue?
like you hating on Ant, bro. I'm going to keep it real. Like, if you got a problem with that, man, put it out there in the air. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind you pulling up on him like you was talking about pulling up on 607 Unc and filming it, That would be more respectable than going to your burner page. Not a burner page, but like your clips channel, because he ain't even post this on his real channel. He posted this on a clips channel. He probably trying to hide the fact that he was even speaking on these people. But that's like throwing rocks and hiding your hand, bro. That's not real. Keep it real. Address the situation head on. Don't sit here and try to create narratives. It's like you campaigning for that man to lose his job or, lose his slot or whatever. I don't know what they got going on, but it's like you campaigning to turn Adam against him.
He can. Now, at the same time, Pill, hey, bruh, you said what you said. I don't know nothing about, how y'all thug and go out. This question to everybody in the room. Them people that he was dissing, are they up under that same car as the people? The mainstays? You see what I'm saying? The ones in LA, did they migrate and, create them other sets. I don't want to call them offsets because that just I never like that off brand offset and everything like that. That's never, you know what I'm saying. Just call them extensions. So is that what happened? Because technically that would be dissing.
Now, what Ceddy is trying to do right here is basically say to Young Ant, like, you did all of that saying he ain't gonna be dissing and all that, but technically he already dissed you, so you should already be, you know, standing on something. This is more of Ceddy just instigating
some
and,
shit
like
for
I
sure.
said, seemingly hating on Young Ant. I don't know much of the background, so I don't know if there is a personal issue between these two or what's going on, why Ceddy is throwing all these subliminal jabs and sneak disses. But that's how it comes off to me. He hating on Young Ant. He basically saying, dude dissed you, so you did a lot of talking for nothing. Dude didn't back down, so he didn't take a L. And Adam facilitated all of this madness. The fact that the original narrative that was put out was that Young Ant checked King Peel. Young Ant marked King Peel out. Young Ant, shut down the disrespect from King Peel on this platform. That was the original narrative. So this whole thing that Ceddy is pushing, like I said, it seems to be aimed towards, protecting King Peel, or at the least trying to say, hey, King Peel didn't take no L. Why he is defending King Peel or feels the need to speak on the situation at all, I don't know. It's not really that big of a deal in the media world. And like I said, he didn't address it on his main platform. So it's obvious that he didn't think that this was a topic that was going to generate a lot of views. It seemed more like he wanted to, send a message, if that's the right way to put it. It seemed more like he wanted to address this situation in a way where those two guys or three guys could see it and hear where he was coming from, but without giving them the quote unquote promotion of putting them on his main channel where he has hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
But I don't know, bro. And I'm gonna keep it fair. There's a lot of growth shown in there. I don't know Buddy on the Couch. Never heard of him. Not in no disrespectful manner. He can say I never heard of Ceddy Nash either. My goal is never to be heard of and anything like that, because the more bigger you get your name, the more for jail you headed. So
For sure, seen videos of this nigga on Young Ant Jefe page for shit show. So really time he know that man that spoke on him before.
there's that. But nobody lost in that situation. Everybody gonna spin it how they want to spin it. But
Matter of fact, we're gonna get into that after this.
I don't want to say my concern, but my mind is gonna say somebody gonna feel some type of way, and then we're gonna be back to the hey, let's fight for money. That's never gonna happen. So it is what it is. Is that Pill's last freaking, I don't want to say performance, but is that his last showing on a show and all that? It should be. And I'm going to tell you why, bro. At a certain point in time, you had to control everything. You had to control the room. You had to control your image. You had to do all of these things because in this YouTube space and place, you have to have an aura about you that essentially transcends everything. And I just find it interesting how, Adam, you turned it up and then you try to turn it down. Nah, bro, go full throttle.
Hey, he most definitely got uncomfortable as fuck when he seen what type of way it was finna go, because it almost got, you feel me, got like that for real. All it took was for any volume to come out, any type of hot volume to come out of nigga voice in that situation when AFA said, what we on? Fuck you mean it? That's all it took. And it was finna go up. That boy Adam was spooked.
Egg it on. Egg it on. Do your thing, bro. So, hey, in the words of Flacco, this might start a gang war. Man, But honestly, ain't nothing finna happen from this. Somebody gonna feel like their ego got bruised, and then it's gonna lead to back and forth and spit boxing online and all that crap, and ultimately nothing's gonna happen.
This is what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. You saying that Adam is egging it on, but you sitting here saying, man, ain't nothing gonna happen. Them dudes just talking, ain't nothing gonna happen. And then, like, just peep the little shade that he throwing towards Young Ant. Man, I never heard of Buddy. He never said his name the whole time. He just kept calling him Buddy. Buddy on the couch. Buddy, Buddy. I never heard of Buddy. I ain't never heard of Buddy. I ain't like, that's obvious, clear shade, bro. And my thing is, if you so, real, I don't want to you so real and you so solid and all, you was gonna pull up on 607 Unc. Why you ain't pulled up on dude? You sitting here saying you don't know Buddy and all this stuff. I seen clearly that man covered your paperwork on his channel, bro. He covered your paperwork, so maybe that's the reason that you feel some type of way. Like I said, I don't know the personal history, but now Ceddy is saying he don't know dude. So maybe this shade is coming from the fact that dude didn't play the biased media game and he covered your paperwork just like they would cover everybody else's stuff that came up. Maybe that's the foundation for this sneak dissing and hating that's going on. But that's what I get from it. And then he's saying this should be the end of King Peel on No Jumper. Basically saying, man, yo, don't go up there no more. This should be your last showing. You got to protect your aura. And, like, you blaming Adam for this, egging on. Man, King Peel been at No Jumper doing what he doing for a couple months now that I know of. I've been hearing this dude's name. If I ain't mistaken, he just had a situation going on with 4 extras. I don't know what the extent of that was, but I haven't heard you mention it, Ceddy. I didn't see you pull up on King Peel and ask him what's up with the situation with 4 extras.
Speaking of Adam, man, what this boy on, man? That boy let his wife get turned every way but loose.
Like you did 607 So I see a lot of picking and choosing in your politicking too. And to be up here talking about legal repercussions and now you saying dude didn't take a L, like this whole little thing just seems one-sided. Seem like you hating on Young Ant. Seem like you hating on Adam too. And the hate towards Adam is funny because, it is, considering how much you be fanned out over No Jumper. But now it makes sense. Now I see why Adam wanted the content, because Adam knows that, you be on this type of stuff that you be on. When you talking about pulling up to No Jumper and checking people's temperature and filming it and all that stuff is cool. But now that it's Young Ant, you doing all of this sneak this and then you doing these captions talking about gang wars coming and RICO cases might be on the horizon and all of this different fabricated madness that is obviously aimed towards damaging the No Jumper brand, or at least making it appear that Young Ant is damaging the brand. But anyway, man, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I just thought that this was something that I could cover and bring to y'all.
Yeah, man. Shout out Byron Blake, man. Y'all gonna subscribe to his channel. Let's go get into that Young Ant Jefe video on Ceddy Nash real quick. Ceddy Nash, I got paid by the news to say I heard shots. Crazy. Fuck wrong with him?
It's your boy Young Ant Jefe. Don't care about number with the check say.
KBL, you a menace.
Yeah. It's a lot of little boys out here talking that talk, but ain't spinning and walking that walk. whack. 50 shots up in this Mac. Face shots to make the news. We just step when they relax. Group chats to get you tapped. Forehead up in my lap. When they pump, we run it back. Tell my youngin' cut no slack. 5 bills to get you whacked.
Go to motionray.com to add this to your video, and that, and that.
Fire, Smoke, 2D.
What's the good old big deal with the good old people, man? It's your boy Young Ant Jefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing to press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm going to bring you mail. What's the good old big deal with the good old people? It's Hot Topics with your boy Young Ant Jefe. And I'm here to deliver you another one like the other one. The recipient of Hot Topics is Ceddy Nash and Lil Woody. So I'm here again with this situation. This is going to be the third segment I spun pertaining to the situation, but that's because there's new information pertaining to this situation. You might know, you might not know. Things are news to me. I'm going to share it with you. So originally I had hopped out there on a segment that Ceddy Nash had brought Lil Woody over there to the Rolling 60s. In that segment, I end up finding out that Ceddy Nash, you know what I'm saying, was a self-proclaimed member of the 60s. And he had, I guess, some type of relationship with Lil Woody. Now, a lot of dudes was happy to see Lil Woody over there, and there was some dudes that was not happy. And by way of those dudes that were not happy, Ceddy Nash came out and made a public apology, you know what I'm saying, for ruffling whoever feathers that felt some type of way about Woody being in the 60s. Now, with all that being spoken of and came out, you know how I go with the fans and the supporters. They went crazy. Oh, man, he can't stand up for Woody. Oh, he is snitched too. He did the same thing, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm just listening to it, you know what I'm saying, but I'm not going to never just, for the most part, come and just say something that somebody told me, unless it was just like, you know, some incriminating stuff. Unless, that's why I always speak on where I heard something from in or show. Not speak on where I heard it from. It's been a small few times I probably spoke on something I heard, but for the most part, I bring it to you where I got it from, where it came from, if not letting you hear it right out. So he made the apology. Amongst that apology, people start saying he's all bad. So I'm like, well, show the facts. I get sent a live recording of Ceddy Nash on the news speaking about a crime that took place. Off the bat, just looking at the situation, and if you survey it, and if you anybody who's been in them courtrooms, anybody that's been incarcerated, a part of this this system they have in place, it's only one thing to call what was shown, and that was reporting and or telling. So I dropped this segment because I couldn't understand like how was Ceddy Nash even speaking on the terms in the same sentence with Lil Woody, and he had a situation of his own. Y'all know the internet. I'm pretty sure that's got spread it around. People sending
segment to Ceddy Nash himself, I'm pretty sure. From that, I go to No Jumper yesterday. You know, we in there. Y'all that watch No Jumper, y'all seen the show. If y'all didn't see yesterday's episodes, man, tap in, you know what I'm saying, for some of that good, real hef effect, you know what I'm saying, the theatrics that was going on in the rest of the pod. During that segment yesterday, Ceddy Nash called in, and Ceddy Nash dropped a cold bombshell. So the first thing Ceddy Nash said was that he didn't tell. And I gave him the floor to explain why he didn't tell, because I hopped out there, and like I said, I don't never want to call anybody a snitch or rat or put any label on anybody that doesn't belong. So he hops on the phone. He said that first and foremost, the situation with him on the news is him acting. So I'm like, what you mean acting? You got role part, got casted in Hollywood? What's going on? Oh, no, they got a thing called, what was that called we talked about on No Jumper yesterday? Crisis Actors or something like that. So I guess.
That nigga said Chris is actors. Hey, man. We gotta do better, bro. Chris is actor. What's the crisis actor, man? Damn.
A crisis
Yeah,
actor,
my nigga, there you go.
is somebody who have not potentially seen a crime, but is recruited by the news and paid by the news to say they seen a story, and supposedly the news is the people that's corroborating this story for them to tell. Now, however, I had never heard of the term. Everybody else had never heard of the term. But as this was going on, there was one person in the room who did hear the term, and that was Lush. And Lush tried to explain that there are crisis or crisis actors, but they don't use their real name when they're up there on the news reporting. And we seen on that report that Ceddy Nash name was used.
Them crisis actors real. Send them to any little thing that's going. They probably was down there with the raids and shit, that little ice raids and all of them, all them protests. And they probably was crisis actors down there with that shit.
Furthermore, from that, we got some paperwork. Ceddy Nash got at me and he dropped some paperwork. So we about to drop this paperwork, and we gonna let him go over this paperwork, and y'all already know it's the hef way and the hef effect. We gonna commentate.
To do this because this is actually a sad story, and I had no idea. Now, obviously, once the boom, boom, boom drop, you know, it is what it is on that one. But I want y'all to read this, right? Well, listen, because I'll read it for you. People versus Teles, Court of Appeal of the State of California, 3rd Appellate District, Sacramento, January 16, 2019. Not to be published, California Rules of Court. Rule 8.1115A prohibits courts and parties from citing or relying on opinions not certified for publication or ordered published except as specified by rule. The same one with the B instead. This option has not been certified for publication or ordered published for purposes of Rule 8.115, Superior Court number 12 FO 7541. Defendant Epidio de Jesus Teles appeals following conviction of second-degree murder with personal and intentional discharge of a firearm causing death, count 1, possession of firearm by a felon, count 2, and receipt of stolen property, a .45 caliber handgun, count 3. Statutory section references that follow are to the penal code unless otherwise set forth. Defendant admitted he killed the victim, but claimed it was in self-defense. Defendant contends the trial court erroneously limited defense investigation into whether this homicide victim previously committed an unsolved murder in 2003 and abused the court's discretion by allowing a witness to speculate that the victim was not armed. Defendant also claims the prosecutor's argument to the jury, improperly infringed on defendant's privileged communications with his lawyer, and improperly invoked a biblical passage. We reject all contentions, but remand to the trial court to consider whether to exercise its newly legislated discretion to strike the section 12022.53 gun enhancement pursuant to legislative amendment of.
Man, y'all go check the rest of that out at FA page, man. Go subscribe and shit, man. Lewski. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a like.